Okay, hello, welcome to today's tutorial. I hope you can hear me clearly. Okay, so today we'll be making 12 slots for 3 ml bottle. Okay, let me bring a sample of the bottle. This type of bottle, this small 3 ml bottle. Okay, for 12 of this is what we are making. Okay, that's a box that will contain 12 of this. That's why I call it 12 slots for 3 ml bottle. Okay, so now I've already pre-cut the measurements. I already cut out the paper that we'll be needing, and so as we proceed, I will be giving out the measurements and the dimensions and all. So now the first thing that we are going to start with is the demarcation, because the box is demarcated. Okay, so this is a long strip. Now that bottle measure, the height of the bottle is 2 inches, so I added 1/8 of an inch to it. So cut out this long strip that measures 2 and 1/8. Okay, but now let me set this aside. We are going to remove a little piece from this 2 and 1/8. That's about 1/16 of an inch. That's half of 1/8. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do that. You can see the tiny piece that I'm cutting out. Very tiny. It's not up to 1/8 of an inch. Okay, now this strip, I did not measure the length. I don't know how long it is, because we don't know how long of a strip that we'll be needing. So what I'm going to do is that we will just continue till we get the desired quantity. If there is any excess, then we'll cut it out. Okay, so now this is it. If we measure this, it's no longer up to 2 and 1/8. Yes, but it is more than 2 inches. All right, so let me bring the board back in. Now I'm going to score this at every 6/8 of an inch. That's at 6/8, 1.5, 2 and 2/8, 3 inches, 3 and 6/8, 4.5, 5 and 2/8, 6 inches, 6 and 6/8, 7.5, 8 and 2/8, 9 inches, 9 and 6/8, 10.5, 11 and 2/8, 12 inches. My paper is longer than my board, so I'll just move this and then line the last score line to any let me use 3. So we'll continue. So at 3 inches, this is 3. Now plus adding 6 6/8. Okay, next one will be 3 and 6/8, 4.5, 5 and 2/8, 6 inches, 6 and 6/8, 7.5, 8 and 2/8, 9 inches, 9 and 6/8, 10.5, 11 and 2/8, 12 inches. We still have more. Let's continue. I'll move this to 3 again. Okay, now continue. 3 and 6/8, 4.5, 5 and 2/8, 6 inches, 6 and 6/8. Now the next one will be 7.5, but this is not up to, so I'll cut this away. Okay, okay, so here we are. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is to create the demarcation. This is how I do it. This first one will be flat, then I will raise this one and fold this over it. Now we have 2 slots already. 1, 2. Then I'll raise this one why this one is flat. We have 1, 2, then fold this over. Now we have 3. Okay, then raise this and fold over. Leave this one to be flat and raise the next one and fold over, and leave this. Raise this and fold over, leaving this. Raise this, fold over, until we get 12. Okay, right now actually I am not counting, I'm just folding over. Okay, this is where this one's for. So let's count how many we have made. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the ones that are lying down flat, what we are counting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it's not complete, so we need to add another piece to it. Now I already have a smaller piece that I used for a previous job. Okay, so I'll just add that to it. This is it. This was what I had left. So now to add it, this is how my demarcation will be. Right now we're not going to add it like this. No, I don't want the joining to show. Okay, so I am going to raise this one and then glue this underneath like this, so it can fold like this. So the joining will be down here where it's not really very visible. Okay, so remember, like this. So I'm going to turn this over and apply my double-sided tape here. And then trim off the excess. Okay. Using my bone folder, I will crease it properly and remove the backing tape. Now this is the back. This paper has two sides. This is the back and this is the front. Okay, so I applied the tape on the back, at the back of this longer strip. So this is how I'm going to fold, so that they will align. Just make sure that they align properly. But if your paper is the same front and back, then you are good to go. Now let's count again. We now have a longer strip. Okay, so let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll cut this off, these excess ones from this score line here. Okay, good. So I'll set this aside. Now what I'm going to do is I will flip this over and start applying my double-sided tape. Please watch closely. Okay, this is the first demarcation, or like, I don't know what to call it, the first space. Now the second one in the center, that's where I will apply my double-sided tape and then trim off the excess. Now watch, after putting on the second one, every third space, that's where I now apply my double-sided tape. Every third, starting from after this one, that's 1, 2, 3. So there will be 2 spaces in between the two where you apply your double-sided tape. Okay, 1, 2, and then a small space here. I have to apply my double-sided tape, even though it's a small space. Yes, but trust me, for me it matters. I'll just close it up like that and then trim, and then repeat the same thing. 1, 2, the third one. Okay, so now I've already explained that, so I will do the rest off camera and then I will come back to you at the next stage. All right, so here I've finished applying on everything. So at the last one there are two spaces left. I'm supposed to apply to the third one, okay, but there's no third one, so that's fine. So that is it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to remove the backing tape. Okay, this is the second one. Remove our backing tape. From now we'll lie this one onto the one beside it like this to create our first demarcation, and then you crease. Okay, you see it, so it is standing. Okay, now you repeat the same thing. Line this over onto this like that, then line this onto the one beside it like that, all the way to the end. Okay, so I'll do this and this on camera, and then I'll do the rest off camera. So line it like this. Make sure you line it up properly and it is straight. Okay, then line this up. So I will finish up the rest and then I'll come back to you on the next stage. Okay, so this is it. It's all rolled up. Okay, so now just open it up, lie down, and then using the back of my thumb while I hold this down, okay, then I fold them down just to make them lie, and then turn over and then crease to make sure that these parts are very flat. Okay, need it to be flat. Can see how flat it is now. I've turned it over. I'll now brace them and bring them the opposite direction like this, the opposite direction, and then repeat the same thing. Reason is so that we can have a very flat and precise measurement. Okay, and then to have a very fine and clean and finished look. Now you see it's also flat. Now what we're going to do next is to bring in our board and then line this up. After lining it up, you see that it's resting on 9 and 1/8. Okay, it's on 9 and 1/8. So what I did is that I will add 1/8 of an inch to it, so it will be here, just a little more space. Hope you can see properly. Just a little more space. Add one, that's 9, so making 9 and 2/8. Okay, so now I'll write that down somewhere. 9 and 2/8. Now this, remember, is 2 and 1/8, but we remove the little strip from it, but it doesn't matter, but it's 2 and 1/8. Okay, now we have 9 and 2/8 and 2 and 1/8 somewhere. Let me write it down for you to see. It will look as if I'm working blindly. So here I have 9 and 2/8, and I also have 2 and 1/8. Okay, now this 6/8 of an inch that we cut out is the width and also the depth of the box, because it's a round bottle. Okay, so the width and the depth are the same size. Now what I'm going to do is to multiply this 6/8 by 4. If you line this up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 inches. 6/8 of an inch multiplied by 4 is 3 inches. So I will add that 3 inches to this plus 3, and to this as well plus 3. We'll end up having 12 and 2/8, and here we'll have 5 and 1/8. Simple maths. 9 plus 3, 12. Bring 2/8 of an inch to meet it. Simple. 3 plus 2, 5. Bring your 1/8. Simple. So now this is the size of paper that we will need to make the 12 in 1 box for 3 ml perfume. Okay, I said 3 ml perfume, 3 ml bottle rather, excuse me. So now I already cut this out. This is it here. I have it already. 12 and 2/8 by 5 and 1/8. Now we are now going to score. Okay, we are going to score at 6/8 of an inch and 1.5 on all the 4 sides. That's 6/8, 1.5. Turn and repeat the same thing. That's all. Okay, this is it. Now remember, we have this set aside. Now what we're going to do next is to remove, I wish I wish I was using white so you can see what I'm writing. 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. We are removing those numbers. So this is how I remove my own. Watch closely. Okay, I will flip this over. No, sorry, before that I will fold. For this type of cardstock, I need to crease before I cut. There are some cardstock that if I should crease before cutting, it won't come out well. Okay, but for this, you need to fold and crease all the fold lines, all of them, all the score lines that we did. Crease it properly. Now be careful when you are creasing, because be careful with your finger and the edge of the paper. If not, it can cut and cause some severe damage to your fingers. Okay, so now I have folded on all of them. What I'll do now, you can see the fold line is now it's more visible. Okay, so this is how I'm going to remove the markings I did. 1 2 3. Okay, watch closely. Just watch closely, and you can also find a way of doing your own, but this is my own way of removing those boxes. You can use scissors, anything that works for you. You can use blade, you can use knife. Don't mind me. Okay, anyway, but just anything that is comfortable for you to use to cut. I like to use my paper cutter and my metal ruler, maybe because I'm used to it, I don't know why, or maybe because I didn't get a good board paper cutter. The one I got is small and the blade died, and to replace the blade is quite expensive. So that's why I resorted to using my paper cutter, this, and metal ruler. And I'm using this ruler for about 5 years, going to 6 years now. Yeah, so anything that, whatever works for you, it's what you go with. So, and then I will remove and separate this. Okay, so done. This is how I remove the 3 that I marked. Excuse me, they are gone. Now if you look closely, you see that there is space. You can see the space, right? That's what I removed the skull line as well from here and also from here. So when I fold these small flaps here, when I fold them inside, you see that they are, this flap is lying beside this skull line and this skull line. It's right in the center. So even if I should fold this over, you can see it's not disturbing it. If I fold this over, it's not disturbing it. Okay, this small piece here, it's not disturbing it. It's very flat. Okay, so that's why I like to remove the skull line. Now the next thing to do, folding this over, this is the outside and this is the inside. Okay, the next thing I'll do is to apply my double-sided tape on the 4 flaps outside, the outside part. This is the outside. The only place I'm adding my double-sided tape is the flaps that will be joining. These flaps I want to be holding the box together to have the shape that we are trying to create. There. Now, next thing we're going to do, fold this over on the inside, this inside part, like this. Okay. And, excuse me. Sorry, I don't know, my tape hooked onto something. Okay, sorry about that. Slide this down. That is not all. The reason why I did that, let me crease this, is so that when I move the backing tape, this will glue down inside. Okay, so now the next part is to apply our same double-sided tape on the outer flaps. That's for this side, this one. And then trim off the excess. Turn it this flap. Trim. And this one, you can see I'm applying my double-sided tape close to the skull line. Okay, the reason is so that when we fold it over, that part will be very flat. Oh yes, I do like wasting my double-sided tape. So I'll put this here and then bring in more double-sided tape. Let's line it up like that. Okay, that is all. So now what I'm going to do next is just to crease properly to make sure that the double-sided tape has taken a good hold onto the paper card and there is no bubble under. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove all the backing tapes. Oh no, let me do it one after the other. I will remove this and then bring this skull line here to meet this one. Here we meet here, this V shape like this, and then release this one to hold on to. Sorry, I'll bring it like this and then release this to hold on to this part. Okay, like that. So we have our box coming to shape already. Then the second part, like that. and then the last one. Okay, you can see our box is coming to shape. Now let's fold these ones outward so we can easily do what we have to do without interference. Sorry. Okay, so now I will start with this. I will remove this backing tape and then bringing my PVC glue. I'll just apply very little. You know, see this space here? That is where I'm applying the glue, okay? Like that. Just a little. And then fold over. And using my bone folder, I will crease properly. And also pay attention to the inside part and the corners. Now, let's do this. So after doing this one, I will do the remaining two off camera to save time. Okay, like that, and then fold it in and crease. Okay, so I'll do remaining two off camera and then I'll get back to you at that point. Okay, all right, so there it is. Now next thing we're going to do is to remove the backing tape from the inside part. Okay, I'm using my nails. You can use maybe a pen or something to remove it if you feel comfortable doing that. So now for the inside part where there is no tape, that's why I'm going to apply my PVC glue. Okay, like this in a zigzag form. Now that is all for my PVC glue. Yeah, I'll set it aside, and then now we bring this in. Remember, you have to finish the box, the base first before gluing this down. If not, to fold this, the one that we folded in, will be very difficult. So you can see the way this entered in perfectly because of that little one that we cut off. Okay, so now to enter and sit perfectly well. Just use your hand to press it down a little, and then the end part, we bring it this way. Now press properly and press here properly. I've not focused on the center part. Now this is what I'll do. I'll hold this down, bring the second one, make sure that it is well aligned, put it down, well aligned, and drop it and line it up properly. Okay, there, finished. So now we have a perfectly finished base. Make sure that you apply pressure just the way I did. Okay, good. So now that is it, well finished. Don't mind the white glue that is coming out. Okay, it will dry up. Okay, so let me get the next part and I'll get back to you at that point.